Let's see if your basic math skills are strong enough to solve this problem without using a calculator. All right, so here is the question. We have 4/7 times 1/3 plus 5/6 in parentheses, and all of this is squared minus 8/9. So the first thing that we need to do is think about the steps that we have to take to solve this problem. So we need kind of a game plan. In other words, what's the first thing that we're going to do? What's the second thing? And so on. And to figure that out, we need to look at the mathematical operations in this problem. All right, so right here we have subtraction. Here we have addition. This right here, this number outside of this parentheses is actually multiplication. We have parentheses and we even have powers. So what is the correct order to do this problem? Well, in order to answer that question, we need to take a look at this acronym right here called PEMDAS. All right, so we're talking about something called the order of operations in mathematics, and this is going to be a checklist that we're going to follow from left to right, and effectively it's going to tell us what to do first, what to do next, etc., etc. Okay, so let's take a look at this acronym. By the way, here is a fun little mnemonic to remember this. That is, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. One more time, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. This phrase has been around for a long time, but anyways, here is PEMDAS, i.e. the order of operations that we need to follow to solve this problem. Okay, so how does this work? Well, let's go through this real quick. So P stands for parentheses. So again, we're going to follow this little acronym from left to right. So if we have any parentheses or brackets or these type of squiggly brackets, these are what we call grouping symbols in mathematics. We're going to start there. Now, clearly we have some parentheses, so this is a good kind of clue that we are going to start the problem right there. All right, so this is what the P means in PEMDAS. Now, once you go to your parentheses and look inside, what you're going to do next is take a look to see if there's any exponents. So exponents are these things right here in a power. So if you have 3 squared, for example, the 2 is the exponent part of the power. 3 is the base. So let me go ahead and write this down here. So 2 is the exponent. 3 is the base, so 3 squared, of course, means take 3 and multiply it by itself 2 times. So 3 times 3, of course, is 9. All right, so after you take a look to see if you have any parentheses, you're going to take a look to see if you have any exponents or powers. Now, just something else on parentheses. The way this grouping symbol stuff works is the following. So if you have some parentheses inside of brackets, for example, you always go to the innermost parentheses. So the P really means grouping symbols, right? So if you have a number inside of parentheses, like say 7, and there's nothing to do inside of those parentheses, well, you just simply move on to the next step. Okay, so P again is parentheses or grouping symbols. E is exponents or powers. Now, not every problem is going to have parentheses or exponents, but of course, if the math problem you're trying to solve has these things, you need to do it in this order. Okay, now the next things here, M, D, and S stand for the following. So M is multiplication, D is division, A is addition, and S is subtraction. Now, a lot of people think that the next thing that we need to do is multiplication. Well, this is not how PEMDAS works, because you see the M is before the D going from left to right. Well, the way this actually works is you're going to do any multiplication or division whatever you see first from left to right. So in other words, if we have multiplication, then division, we'll do it in this order. But if we have division before multiplication, we will do it in this order. Okay, so after all multiplication and division, you're going to move on to any addition and subtraction. Okay, so this is the correct order of operations, and now we need to apply this to solve this problem. Okay, so now that we understand the correct order of operations, we can apply it to solve this problem. All right, so what is the first thing that we need to do? Well, we reference our little checklist here. So P is parentheses or grouping symbols. So do we have any parentheses in this problem? Well, of course we do. We have these right here. So we need to do everything inside of the parentheses first. All right, so we have 1/3 plus 5/6. So now we need to talk about fractions. So how do you add fractions? Well, you cannot add or subtract fractions unless they have the same denominator. Let me give you a simple example. If I have 2/5 and I want to add it to 1/5, well, I can add these fractions because the denominators are the same. So the answer is going to be the sum of the numerators. So basically, we just add the numerators, the top numbers in the fraction. So that's going to be 2 plus 1. So that is 3 over the denominator, or common denominator, 5. Okay, so this is how we add and subtract fractions. But what happens when we don't have the same denominator? In other words, this denominator is 3 and this denominator is 6. Well, we need to find the lowest common denominator. All right, so that means we just simply need to rewrite these fractions such that they have the same denominator. All right, so this denominator is 3 and this denominator is 6. What is the LCD, or lowest common denominator, of these two fractions? Well, the answer is 6. Now, if you're struggling with basic math, I'll give you some suggestions later in the video, but you definitely need to understand fractions when it comes to basic mathematics and how to find the LCD. Okay, so we can get these fractions to have the same denominator, i.e. 6. So this denominator is already 6, but we can change this 3 to a 6 by multiplying it by 2, because 3 times 2 is 6. But here is the key. If we're going to multiply the denominator by 2, we also have to multiply the numerator by 2 as well. Okay, so that means instead of 1/3, we're going to have the fraction 2 over 6 plus 5/6. All right, so we have 2 over 6 plus 5 over 6. So now we have a common denominator of 6. So our denominator is going to be 6, and our numerator is going to be 2 plus 5, or 7. Okay, so now that we did all the math inside of the parentheses, we have the sum of these two fractions as 7 over 6. So we can rewrite this problem now this way. So we still have our 4/7. So it's going to be 4/7 times 7 over 6, all this squared, minus 8 over 9. All right, so this is our problem, and now we need to think about the next step. Well, we have to go back to our PEMDAS checklist. All right, so did we handle everything in parentheses? Yes, we did. Do we have any exponents or powers? Well, indeed we do. So we have to deal with that before we move on. Okay, so we have 7 over 6 squared. All right, so we have to deal with this before we do anything else. All right, so what does it mean to square a number? So if I have, again, 3 squared, what it means is take this number, which is called the base, and multiply it by itself. So again, we'll have 3 times 3, which of course is 9, and this is the same thing as 3 squared. All right, so 7 over 6 squared is going to be what? Well, that means take 7 over 6 and multiply it by itself. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that, but I'm going to do something a little bit different here. So instead of writing the full complete answer, let's just kind of leave it like this. So we'll have 4 over 7 times, now we can use some brackets like this to kind of group this together. So we can have 7 times 7 over 6 times 6. Now, of course, we know that this is 49 over 36, but you'll see why I'm going to do this in just 1 second, because remember, we're not using a calculator and we want to work smarter, not harder. So now that we took care of our powers, we need to think about the next steps here. So this is multiplication right here. This is subtraction. Now, of course, I have multiplication right here. And if some of you are confused, you can certainly have your problem written this way. We can write this as 4/7 times 49 over 36. All of this subtracted from 8/9. So this is not a problem. But you can see here, I have 49 and 36 written this way, because this is going to help us out to simplify this multiplication without using a calculator. All right, so we have multiplication and subtraction remaining, so we need to go back to our PEMDAS checklist to think about the next step. All right, so do we have any multiplication and division? Well, of course we do. We have multiplication, so we need to handle all of the multiplication before we handle any addition and subtraction. All right, so let's go ahead and do that now. Now, again, you can think of 7 times 7 as 49 and 6 times 6 as 36. But if we leave these numbers factored, it's just going to help us out with the arithmetic. But the main idea here is that we have to do multiplication first. All right, so we're going to multiply 4/7 times this fraction right here, which of course is 49 over 36, but we're going to write it as 7 times 7. So let's just make sure you understand this here. And let me go ahead and break it down a little bit further. So we have 4/7 times 49 over 36. Now I'm going to write this 49 over 36 this way. Okay, so I'm going to have 4/7 times 7, which of course is 49, and 36 is 6 times 6. So how you multiply fractions is easy. All you need to do is multiply the respective numerators and denominators. So we basically have one big product in the numerator and one big product down in the denominator. Okay, so this is going to make our life a lot easier here because we can cross cancel like factors. In other words, we can cross cancel these two sevens. So now this helps us out with the multiplication or arithmetic. So now we have 4 times 7, which of course is 28, and 6 times 6, which of course is 36. All right, so now all of this, 4/7 times 49 over 36 is 28 over 36, and that's going to be subtracted from 8 over 9. Okay, so now we're down to 28 over 36 minus 8 over 9. All right, so let's just go back here and make sure that we don't have any more steps to take before we finish up this problem. So here again is our last step. Okay, we have 28 over 36 minus 8 over 9. Now to subtract these fractions, again, we need to have a common denominator. So how can we fix this fraction problem up such that the denominators are the same? Well, we need to be thinking about the LCD. So what is the LCD of these two fractions? Now, a great way to think of the lowest common denominator is the lowest number that both this number and this number divide into without a remainder. Now, if you said, I think the LCD is 36, well, you would be absolutely correct. All right, so the lowest common denominator is 36, meaning that this fraction right here already has the LCD. So we need to change this fraction right here such that its denominator is 36. Okay, so how can we fix this fraction up so that it has a denominator of 36? Well, that's easy. All we have to do is multiply the denominator by 4. So 9 times 4, of course, is 36. But remember, if we're going to multiply the denominator by a number, we also have to multiply the numerator by that same number as well. Okay, so that is going to be 4. So now we're down to 28 over 36 minus 8 times 4 is 32 over 9 times 4 is 36. Okay, so we are almost done, but here is a little bit of a twist in this problem. You need to understand the rules for positive and negative numbers to get the right answer. So to get the correct numerator here, we have to subtract 28 minus 32. Okay, so this is what we need to figure out, and this will be over the common denominator of 36. Okay, so 28 minus 32, what is the answer? Well, if you're saying to yourself, I think it's 4, well, that is wrong. Okay, in fact, this is negative 4. So 28 minus 32 is the same thing as 28 plus a negative 32. All right, so the numerator here is actually a negative 4. So now we have negative 4 over 36, and we can reduce this fraction down to negative 1 over 9 because 4 goes into 36 9 times, and 4 goes into 4 1, and we have a negative number. So the correct answer is negative 1/9. All right, so that is the final answer. So did you get this right? Well, if you got this right, that is super impressive. I definitely have to give you a nice little happy face and A plus and a 100%. Again, congratulations for having strong basic math skills. Now, if you need to improve or if you want to improve or review your basic math that you learned many years ago, check out these two courses. You can find links to them in the description of this video. My first course would be my Math Foundations course. That's basically a little mini course that covers arithmetic and basic math. Now, if you want to learn basic math and then get into some algebra and geometry, check out my Math Skills Rebuilder course. Okay, so again, in that course, I cover basic math, but I also teach you some algebra and geometry as well. All right, so with all that being said, I definitely wish you all the best in your math adventures. Thank you for your time and have a great day.